Family, Elder.O coming back with you once again. What is about to happen not only in America, but the world will pale in comparison to what happened during the Great Depression, as it states in the book of Genesis, chapter 47, verse 15. The money failed in the land of Egypt. America, according to Revelations chapter 11, is spiritual Egypt. History repeats itself. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9, the thing that has been is that which shall be done, and that which shall be done is that which shall be done. There is no new thing under the sun. Every monetary fiat system, paper currency that has ever been invented since the inception of mankind, eventually fails. What's getting ready to happen in America and the world will pale in comparison to what happened in the Great Depression. Please pay attention. I am not a fearmonger, but history repeats itself. The average age of an empire is 250 years, and this nation will reach its 250th birthday July 4th next year, 2026.
29. America descends into chaos. Millions lose their jobs, banks close, and families are left penniless. The Great Depression became one of the most devastating economic crises in history. What caused it, and how did it change the US economy? The 1920s saw a booming economy. People poured money into stocks expecting rapid growth, but this bubble was highly unstable. On October 29, 1929, Black Tuesday, the market crashed. Stock prices plummeted, wiping out the savings of millions. The stock market collapse dragged down the banking system. Thousands of banks failed, leaving people without their money. Production ground to a halt and unemployment skyrocketed. Overvalued stocks, weak banks, and a lack of regulation led to the most devastating crisis in
Great Depression wasn't an accident. It was a meticulously
working. 29. America descends into chaos.
I am not reporting this to fearmonger. I am reporting this because the Heavenly Father has put it on my heart, and I am trying to forewarn the people as to what is about to take place. As reported, AI will trigger a global collapse by 2027. That's just a little over 2 years away. Please prepare. Please.
Convinced we can make safe AI, but the more I looked at it, the more I realized it's not something we can actually do.
You have made a series of predictions about a variety of different dates. So what is your prediction for 2027?
Dr. Roman Yampolsky is a globally recognized voice on AI safety and associate professor of computer science.
He educates people on the terrifying truth of AI
and what we need to do to save humanity.
In 2 years, the capability to replace most humans and most occupations will come very quickly. And then in 5 years, we're looking at a world where we have levels of unemployment we've never seen before. Not talking about 10%, but 99%. And that's without superintelligence. A system smarter than all humans in all domains. So it would be better than us at making new AI. But it's worse than that. We don't know how to make them safe. And yet we still have the smartest people in the world competing to win the race to superintelligence.
But what do you make of people like Sam Altman's journey with AI?
So a decade ago, we published guardrails for how to do AI right. They violated every single one. And he's gambling 8 billion lives on getting richer and more powerful. So I guess if some people want to go to Mars, others want to control the universe. But it doesn't matter who builds it. The moment you switch to superintelligence, we will most likely regret it terribly.
And then by 2045...
He stated by 2027. That's a little over 2 years away. So those who have mortgages and pay rent, he says AI is going to affect 99% of the population. It is even stated that it will affect doctors' jobs. I am not fear-mongering. I am telling you to prepare, because what is about to take place in this nation, not only this nation, but the world, will affect the entirety of the over 8 billion people that are populated on this earth. Please prepare. I am putting this message up with a heavy heart. Soon and very soon, all of us will need one another more than we realize. Every nation historically that has ever existed always thought within themselves that their kingdom and empires would exist forever, but it's not true. The average age of an empire is 250 years. America will reach 250 next year, July 4th, 2026. Please prepare. It is here. This is the calm before the economic storm. And when the banking fiat system collapses, not only in America, but the world, there will be chaos and anarchy. I am not fear-mongering, but giving you the truth. Please be ready. This world was built by the hands of man, and yet you think we don't need one another? Soon and very soon, you will find out. They use word magic right before our very eyes. Please anoint your physical and spiritual eyes that you may hear and see. Look at what is taking place in the job market, and they say by 2027, 99% of the jobs, not only in America, but worldwide, will be affected by AI. Have you heard about this story? Let me share it. Pay attention.
Economy facing rising prices and a slowdown in hiring, fueled in part by President Trump's tariffs on imported goods. Economists expected the U.S. to add 75,000 net new jobs in August, which would have been alarmingly low. Instead, only 22,000 materialized, and the unemployment rate rose to 4.3%. That was a slight jump from July. But Black Americans have seen their jobless rate jump even faster. At 7.5%, they currently face the highest unemployment rate of any racial group, higher than the white population at 3.7%, higher than Asians at 3.6%. Both groups have jobless rates, by the way, which are below the overall population unemployment rate of 4.3%. But if you dig deeper, the sharpest spike even there is happening among Black women. Take a look at this graph. In February, when President Trump was settling down into the White House again, there were more than 10.5 million Black women working in the labor force. But according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 306,000 have lost their jobs since then, stripping around $37 billion from the U.S. economy, according to the gender economist Katika Roy. Many economists point to Trump's massive cuts to the federal workforce as the driving factor. It's interesting. Black women alone make up over 12% of federal employees. That's nearly double their share of the labor force overall. And that's not by accident. For decades, Black women have pursued public sector jobs as a pathway to the middle class. Government jobs often come with civil service protections against discrimination and pay inequity, which is critical because Black women still face the largest wage gap in America even today. But those protections are evaporating. Many of the agencies that Donald Trump targeted in his budget cuts are agencies where Black women make up a larger share of the staff. For example, the Department of Education, 28% of employees were Black women. The department staff was cut by nearly 46%. By contrast, agencies with largely white staff, like the Department of Energy and Justice, saw cuts of just 13% and 1%, respectively, according to government data. But even black women who work in the private sector are being targeted. They make up a large share of the country's diversity, equity, and inclusion officers. And as more companies bow to political pressure to roll back DEI initiatives, these women are being pushed out of the workforce as well. Here's the thing. Even if you're not a black woman, all of this should alarm you. Economic policy expert Jessica Fulton explains that a sharp jump in black women's joblessness may foreshadow an impending slowdown for other groups too. She says black women, quote, show up as a canary in the coal mine, giving a picture of what may happen to everyone else later, end quote. Katika Roy goes further, calling these cuts a strategic failure with long-term consequences that robs the country of leadership, innovation, and entrepreneurial capacity. Because when over 300,000 people from one particular demographic drop out of the workforce in a matter of months, that's not one community's problem. It's a structural problem for the U.S. economy.
As it states in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 18, for in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increases knowledge increases sorrow. I am not fear-mongering. The Messiah Yahushua says, behold, I have foretold you all things. Soon and very soon, we're going to need one another more than we all realize. What is about to take place and is happening in America, and not only America, but the entire planet, will affect all of us. So if you choose to not take heed to this warning and message and go back to your mundane lives, being continually distracted by some form of television program or sports, then continue to do so. But when these things quickly fold before your very eyes, then you know a messenger of the Creator Yahuwah has been standing before you, warning you. Please take heed. Go read Isaiah chapter 4. Read all of the biblical prophecies. Your continually and deliberately ignoring it will not stop prophecy. Genesis 47:15, historically, all fiat currency eventually fails.
Women become in the workplace before they have their children, the higher the opportunity costs when they have their kids. So it's harder to leave work.
So they don't want to spend as much time having children as participating in the labor force and doing other things. That's clearly been important. Well, the causes, you can see how some of the causes are very closely related to the economy, and those are not necessarily bad factors, like the growing education of women, very good. Women now have higher education than men in the United States. Many more women are enrolled in college than men, so that's one consequence. A second very important factor, richer countries have more money to spend, but they also have greater aspirations because they're in richer economies. They want to spend more on themselves, adults, and they want children. Women are enrolled in college than men, so that's one consequence. A second very important factor, richer countries have more money to spend, but they also have greater aspirations because they're in richer economies. They want to spend more on themselves, adults, and they want to spend more on their children.
Affluence doesn't just mean that we buy more stuff. It means that we also want to live our lives as individuals as opposed to being in large groups.
So what they do is they have fewer children and invest more in each child.
When you look at all of the social science data, there seems to be one predictor that explains fertility levels better than any of them who are so surveyed.
Economists tell us that as countries and individuals become prosperous, they tend to desire fewer children.
I think the sexual revolution is the most profound event of the 20th century, quite honestly.
Desired family size, as expressed by women who are so surveyed.
Economists tell us that as countries and individuals become prosperous, they tend to desire fewer children.
I think the sexual revolution is the most profound event of the 20th century, quite honestly. It may even be the most profound event of modern history.
There definitely was a sexual revolution, and you can see it very clearly in women's reports of their lives. If you talk to women who came of age in 1960 and later, a much higher proportion will have been sexually active before marriage with somebody they did not marry.
There's no denying that once we began to travel down the road toward gender equality and all the other changes associated with it, including birth control, everything changed.
Women who came of age after about 1960 have more partners, are more likely to divorce, more likely to have worked than women who came of age in the 40s, the 30s, 40s, or 50s. Behavior changed. The world changed in ways that affected the choices people made about sex and marriage and childbearing and work.
And most notably, I believe, the family changed.
For multiple reasons,